There we go. Hi, I'm Jenna Apgar.
Oh yeah, we got our sunglasses on here.
Still at Starbucks. This is becoming a set and favorite location. Here with David Roberts for the, what are we on, day 9 of the Vision Challenge.
Day 9. Wow.
And a lot of y'all have been trucking right along, and for those of you who've gotten a little behind, I was trying to kind of reintegrate y'all back in. Don't feel bad for getting behind, but let's get y'all back caught up. Today we're talking about the client experience.
Yeah, and as we've talked about before, we always want to keep this in the context of that painting that whole picture. I feel like I'm kind of leaning into it.
We go this.
Maybe it's.
We didn't even need the lights today.
Little angle, yeah, it's pretty bright here. So anyway, trying to look at that future picture, we know what we want our client. If you've gone along each of the challenges, you know kind of what that, if anything were possible, picture looks like, and you should know at this point kind of what value you're providing to that perfect client and what kinds of things. And now we're really talking about how you want them to experience you in your company.
In your company.
And so.
And by the way, if y'all have any questions, go ahead and ask them below. We did pretty good with that yesterday, but you might see us squint to read it. So.
Yeah. So if we're looking like this, it's not because we're upset with you. It's because we're trying to read the comments. But yeah, I'd say that's clearly how do you explain that? How would you explain the experience you'd like them to have? And that doesn't just, as I think we said in the email, and it doesn't just begin when they have an issue or when they buy your product or service, right?
It starts when they don't even know you.
Right.
So you put it out there, you have your ideal clients, you have your ideal audience,
right.
Your tribe, but they don't know who you are yet. And that's a problem, right? So it's really describing from the very beginning, how do you create that initial awareness, and then when they find you, what is the exact path? Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, bucket 1, 2, or 3. We were using buckets to describe it earlier.
Right.
What is the exact path? And you will even have multiples of these. So if you're creating awareness through in-person networking, so the Richardson Plano networking group would be a good example, or my VIB group with the veterans, might be a very different client path than, say, somebody I advertise to from Google or Facebook, or you met through a direct connection. Those might have slightly different client paths and how you direct them, but when you start to write them down, the whole point of business, you want to be able to measure it, right? You have goals, you have that future story, but how do you get there? You need to have something quantifiable, something measurable that you can do. When you have a set path, if somebody hits step 1, 2, and 3 and then drops out, and you don't get people into step 4, then you can say, this is where I have a problem.
Right.
Step 1, 2, and 3 is great, rocking the boat there, but we need to fix that pattern from step 3 to step 4. We need to add a step, we need to change 4 up. You can then start to figure out where things are wrong in your business.
I just noticed something.
The mower?
Yeah. Was it last Thursday when we had? No, it wasn't Thursday because you were doing Thursday.
No, Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
I guess here at this Starbucks they actually do it on.
Imagine that
Thursday.
they have to mow. Everyone got to mow.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm sorry. I have a little ADD as Jenna knows. So, but yeah. Yeah.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, we're both have that challenge. So when something's going on. So yeah, I think that's really key, and I think that as your clients are on this journey with you, and they're beginning at their place, and you're going to want them to want to know they're there, right?
Exactly.
You want to be able to look around and say, okay, here's, and I think it's client, but we could also probably expand that to your audience, right? To your tribe to a degree. Because what is the experience really of all those who touch you or your organization, right? How are they experiencing? How do you know?
I have one for my employees.
Okay.
That's very separate, and I recently tried to onboard a new employee, and she couldn't get past step 1, so it was like, maybe this is not going to work out.
Yeah.
But it helps them know exactly what's expected. I have it all laid out in Evernote.
Right.
And everything, I put links and everything to where they need to go, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that is their onboarding experience, and how do I deal with them every day, and lays out expectations and how to do things.
So, and with that, when you think about it, so what if you don't have this, right? If you don't have this this path that you've defined, then what happens? I mean, without it, it's pretty.
I think it actually makes your life harder, because now you just have somebody, like for an employee is a good example. You're like, well, what do I do next? Now I have to stop what I'm doing and redirect you to the next task. And
Well,
there's no expectation set.
Yeah, because I mean,
When I had no expectation set, I was paying people for work that wasn't getting done.
right.
And I was just like, that's not going to happen.
Well, and I think really where I was going with this, because having worked with a lot of different business owners, one of the most common challenges you find is that they have no time. They're trapped.
That's another one.
They're trapped in their business. They're working in their business all the time and not
Yep.
on their business, right? And they're always saying, "Well, I don't know how to free up the time. I don't know how to do it." Well, part of it is look at this challenge, this step,
Yep.
and really evaluate, have you really, even where you're at today. Now, obviously, what we're really trying to get you to think about is how would you like that customer experience to be? And then contrast that to where it is
Well,
today. But the
If
thing,
you know what it is, you can build it.
Right.
If you don't know what it is, you don't even know what tools to look for to build it.
right,
So when I build out like a client experience for my own clients,
right,
I then know pretty much exactly what tools they need. Whereas they're
Right.
just going like, and that lets them know, like for my own clients, I use Evernote as well.
Okay.
At any given point in time, they know they can go look and see exactly where they're at. So that reduces the number of phone calls I get, like what's going on. Because, building a website could take a while.
Sure.
It doesn't just happen overnight. And building a process takes a while. And writing sales letters takes a while. Whereas if they can log in, like they know the process, they know the experience, I get less phone calls, I get less worry, I get happier clients. And even, using automation tools, like we were talking about ActiveCampaign, to automate some of those processes.
Right.
So as a business owner, you save time. So I want to be able to spend the limited amount of time I do have where I actually need to be on the phone calls I need to be at to give them that ideal experience, and then automate the dumb emails that
that are repetitive.
John has a very repetitive email that goes out as soon as someone contacts him. Here are the basic expectations. You got a PI, you got a DWI. He literally, he's on his phone, he copies it from the notes and pastes it into the email and sends it out to him.
Okay.
But we'll automate that, and then that saves 10 minutes for every email. And 10 minutes adds up.
So there is a solution to that, and it does provide value, and there is a reason that we are talking about this in the Vision Challenge, is because it really completes a lot of the picture. Because in that picture, this is kind of like what kind of wraps around that. Who is the client? Who am I? Where am I at? What's all? And again, it's specifically focused on your business, because obviously the people who are on this call are business owners or professionals, and they're trying to improve that aspect. And we're not minimizing the others, but for sure, this is an area where
Very important for businesses.
yeah, and really taking those things which are going to be a part of every interaction that you have with your clients, with your tribe, with your audience, is automating as much as you can, especially the repetitive parts, right? So that, because really where you're needed, remember we talked about your superpower? Remember that one? Well, you need to have the maximum amount of time allocated to exercising your superpower.
This is true.
And how do you achieve that? I mean, if you don't have time to interact with your customers, if you don't have time to demonstrate your superpower,
Then you've wasted.
then you're not.
Yeah.
You're just
just
like
like
another
everyone
one
else.
Yeah, you're not unique, right?
You're just trying to. We were talking about. You're just trying to copy someone else's business model.
Right.
This is you creating your own business model Just we worded it very differently.
Yeah, and you're the secret sauce. I mean, your superpower is what makes your business, your vision, complete vision, enabled by your team, your tribe, your superpower, and then the processes that make all that come together to create a customer experience or an experience in general with you and your business. That's going to allow that to be repetitive, and you can build upon that. So you get a baseline.
Oh, it changes.
Yeah, and so it's important. And so, going through this is not just an exercise and saying, okay, yeah, I do. And it's not really an attempt either to sell you on some of the automation. I think that because really...
The automation is really dependent, or any tool is dependent on what you need.
Right. And the thing is, automation is, you can automate nothing and still have nothing.
Oh, yeah.
You can automate a really crappy process,
Yeah.
and all you do is do crappy stuff fast,
And there are
right?
people who spend a lot of money on these automations and all these tools, but if you can have all that in place, but if you don't have all the other stuff, then you'll see it. They're like, I bought this. I spent $3,000 here. I spent $2,000 here. I paid a designer $5,000, and I'm still not making any money. I was like, well, you missed a few steps,
Right.
and now you don't need this. You don't need that. Let's take this out. Let's put this in, because you didn't have a process. And so you just hired consultants to build something for you. They made money. Someone else made money, and you ended up with something that wasn't tailored to fit your needs.
Yeah, I look at it, and this is a guy way of looking at it. So in general, maybe look at this differently. But I look at myself and a lot of. I mean, I am probably the least handy guy you're going to want to encounter when it comes to doing stuff, using tools and stuff like that. But I got all the tools, right? You have to have this new cool thing to do this really sexy thing, or even with the technology. I've got this new great thing. But if
Now
you
I
don't,
know who to borrow tools from.
yeah. But I don't know how to use them.
I do.
Yeah. So Jenna, maybe I'll have her come over and do the work around my house. But so just having the tool, going out and buying, Active Campaign or Evernote or any of that kind of stuff, and then saying I've got the tool and not.
You need to know
using
what
it.
gap you're filling.
Right. And I think that's one of the key points here. So this is really not about necessarily going out and running out and buying the tool at this point. You need to know why.
Yes.
And what is the experience
But
you're
you
trying
figure
to
out
create.
why by labeling out that customer experience.
Right.
Then you can start to see what you need to fill the gaps based on your ideal futuristic process. And if you don't know where to start with what you have now.
Right.
What is your current process? If you had to write down your current sales process or whatever you might call it from start to finish, how do you get people in? How do you ask for the referral? And everything in between, that's a good place to start.
Absolutely. So I don't know that we have a lot more on this particular topic. I know that tomorrow we're going to start talking about how do you share evidence around this and begin to know if you're creating the experience, right? I mean, that's at the end of the day.
That's how you get feedback.
Right. And
You have to ask for it.
So we'll be talking about that tomorrow, and I know we're going to be actually talking about that with the Richardson Plano networkers too.
Yeah.
And we may just overlap.
Join
So
it.
if you see something that we're talking to the Richardson Plano networkers,
I'll tag it.
yeah, we'll tag it. But you'll get the notice. But it's not just a random notification. It'll be
Well, it still comes from us.
tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow's version. So,
About the same time.
yeah. So, anything else you think of? I mean, should we go over the prompts or whatever? Just, just for the public posting and, really just make sure. So we're really looking for you today to, how do you want clients to feel about working with you in general? These are some of the things to consider. What current systems do you have? How do you want your client to feel as your work is being done? How can you refine the process? Those are all things to think about.
Yes.
As we've laid out there. And
there's the PDF that you can just click and you can edit directly from any computer without any additional software.
Yep. So, and then we would like you to, if you're, especially, hey, how you doing? If you're also in the idea of posting and trying to go in there for the grand prize, right? Then we'd like for you to, do your public posting, preferably on the Business Growth Network or on your Facebook page, those kinds of things. Yeah, I got to lean over again. So, and post answers to one of these questions. When you work with my company, we can guarantee you will feel.
And feel free to ask questions. You don't just have to post. If you don't understand a prompt or you have a question about your own path that you're creating for your clients and you don't understand it, just ask.
Well, and I think one of the things that probably you've said a few times here that I think is good is when you post those questions, we'll even give you credit, right? Is if you say, if you're like haven't caught up yet, let's say you're running behind and I was just looking at Vision Challenge 3, and Jenna said, you're way behind. And I said, no, I was just refreshing myself on that one. But if you're there and you're trying to maybe fill in some of the blanks from before and it evokes a question, don't feel like we've already moved past that and we can't answer a question. So just use the hashtag Vision Challenge, hashtag day 3, and then say and that's so based for your question. So we
get a notification every time you post anyway.
Right. So when you do that, then we'll know. We'll look at it. We'll say, okay, he or she is really talking about the content of, or trying to work through the content of day 3, and at that point, then we'll be able to do that. Plus, we'll give you credit for posting for that day on the page, right? Yeah. Will we do that? Okay. Is that fair? Okay. Cool.
All engagement is fair game.
Yeah, I think that's important, and we really do appreciate all of you. You know, Randy, Karen, Esther. Who else am I missing?
Nicolette
was really active. Yeah, appreciate from South Africa, right?
She's not even participating. She just joined in for fun.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
John, I want John to catch up.
Yeah.
I like his story.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. So,
veteran thing.
Yeah. So John, yeah, we're still pulling for you, bud. Don't be shy. You've got a great story.
And as part of like we were discussing, like what is the prize, what is the point of posting? Well, we really wanted to encourage posting so that everyone stays engaged and everyone wants to ask questions, wants to post out there. And I think we were doing 3 people. Like the end game here, we know that we want to create. And you can go to our website and you can see it's kind of all in shambles and hasn't been built yet. But we do want to create a section on the back end where we can provide different training from different industries and different specialities.
Sure.
We don't know quite what we'll call it or what we'll charge, but for 3 people that are participating, you'll get in that for life. Probably will not ever be offered again. So
you'll be in.
For 2 more people, in addition to getting that, one, I have a complete list of business-related and marketing Evernote templates with lots of checklists so you know exactly what you need to start building for your business, or at least ideas to start building.
Hey, Nicolette, you're back.
And for one person, so a big part of David's existing business with Robert's High Performance is taking this vision and this future idea that you've come up with and doing an alignment, which is, I would describe it better than I can.
That's basically aligning those key resources. Could be people, could be partners, could be ultimately creating a marketplace alignment, which Jenna's, I'll end up pulling her in to help with as we create our marketing messaging and also that part.
But 4 hours.
But go after a real deep dive on how to really craft that vision, that picture of if anything were possible, and then
building that bridge from here to that island that we've described.
So that'll be part of the grand prize, if you will. So appreciate everybody continuing to participate with us. We'll have tomorrow's session, and I think we'll have a couple of bonus sessions. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But anyway, I appreciate everybody hanging in there and continuing to be on this journey with us. So we're learning a lot along the way about our own businesses and about this process of bringing a group of people along with us.
And how to do it.
Yeah, and it's great. It's really been a learning experience for us.
So have a wonderful Thursday. Feel free to ask any questions down here in the comments. We'll get to them too if you don't want to make it over to the Vision challenge engagement group. Keep posting, and we'll have some more ideas for how to do your postings and actually take everything we've done, not just today, but in the whole past 2 weeks, and really utilize it in your business so you can help building your bridge to where you want to go and let everyone know where you want to go.
Right.
All right, so have a great Thursday.
Awesome.